Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for Truth show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, and it's a pleasure to be back with you again. Your special space, where tonight we have a special feature where sports, science, and performance are going to be meeting in a captivating story as we explore how to perform well, but without drugs. And Buddha, if you will, let's put up our special guest tonight on the screen, and we're going to go over how he has used this, how he achieved mental focus, tremendous, competitiveness, success, and what he did with the science of endorphins and natural drug-free highs. So we go tonight to the heart of Central America, where passion met precision, where one player rose to carry the pride of an entire nation. Cristian Paiz from Guatemala City, a man fueled by drive, discipline, and an unshakable belief that he could stand among the world's best. From his battles on the courts of Florida Atlantic University to the global stage of the ITF Tour, he pushed the limits, climbing to career-high ranking inside the top 700 in the world. And when his country called, he answered with pride, fight, and heart, and he became one of Guatemala's most dedicated warriors, stepping onto the Davis court time and time again on that Davis Cup, ready to give everything for the blue and white of Guatemala. He is the spirit of Guatemalan tennis. He was the pride of the Davis Cup, and he's Guatemala's warrior on the world stage. And Buddha, if you will, let's bring him up live and bid a warm welcome to Cristian Paiz to A Time for Truth show. Welcome, sir.
Hello, hi, Dr. Ben. Excited to talk about these topics. They're essential for athletes today.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, because you have so much to share and we have so much to cover. So let's get right to it. Let's take a look at drug-free sports that you exemplify with athletic competition at a very high level. And I wanted to ask you, first of all, why is this theme so important to you?
Well, clean sport protects fairness and health. Tennis is built on precision, footwork, and mental control. So if someone uses substances to enhance their strength or reduce fatigue, the playing field is no longer fair. So from a health standpoint, performance-enhancing drugs disrupt hormones, stress the heart, shorten careers. I want my achievements to reflect my effort, not through chemicals.
Makes a lot of sense. And competition in tennis is so high, and focus especially in tennis, which sometimes is like a athletic, cognitive chess match on the court, you know, with a combination of all these disciplines. So I wanted to ask you, how do you maintain that mental focus over that intensity of that match?
Well, I use breath work, resets, and visualization. Neuroscience shows that these techniques they strengthen the prefrontal cortex, so it controls attention. A trained mind stays calm during break points and tie breaks.
Very interesting. So, you know, most people, I know myself also, we want to feel better. And there are many claims out there that exercise and physical training help people to actually feel happier. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you really researched this and actually, you know, applied it, specifically, what is happening when this, what is causing it? You know, what is actually the basis?
Well, that's what you're feeling there is the endorphin release. You're gonna feel the dopamine, the serotonin, the endocannabinoids. As you train, as you exercise, they do improve mood. They reduce stress and sharpen thinking. It's nature's pharmacy.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I'm a big proponent of reward, you know, and of good conduct, getting reward. And it almost seems like that's what's going on in the body, is that if we do the right actions, we get this reward back. But I wanted to ask you, because obviously you've competed at a very high level. So my question is, have you experienced this famous, you know, exercise high?
Yes, definitely. Well, study shows that the endorphins they peak at 70 to 85 VO2, which is the oxygen. So this is the typical training intensity that a tennis match is played at and also trained at.
Interesting. And do you feel also, aside from that aspect, do you feel that a person's longevity, their health over a lifetime, is enhanced by the training methods that you've used that are natural?
Yes, yes, definitely. By keeping the hormonal system natural, you're protecting your heart. You're reducing joint inflammation. With drugs, it might give you a short spike in performance, but they're going to cause long-term internal damage. So clean athletes get longer and healthier careers.
That makes sense. And you know, I was going to ask you because, you know, you're a tennis player for many years. And, you know, people say, well, geez, I want to get motivated. I want to stay motivated. And sometimes, you know, I don't call it burnout. You start getting bored. And, you know, I'm curious is, how did you stay motivated? I mean, because especially in a sport that you're in, so difficult. So how did you stay motivated? Because, you know, a lot of athletes, they turn to, you know, hormones, steroids, things like that. So how did you do it without that?
Well, when mental fatigue comes into play, you're looking at adenosine buildup. I use breathing resets, hydration, and pacing through natural methods. There's no need for drugs. Stimulants they might mask the fatigue, but they're going to reduce judgment. And natural strategies protect the performance too. So it's best to stay on the clean side.
But very interesting. You know, as I watch the tennis matches, you know, and I see you guys like back, forward, and you're like, you move so quickly, and some of the rallies are unbelievably intense. I'm just curious, how did you manage not getting fatigued and continue to like bolt back and quick and you know it's like amazing. How do you do that still?
Oh well, that's where recovery comes into play. You're gonna need to stay with the sleep, with the electrolytes, and making sure you get the right diet. too. There's no need for any stimulants there.
Very good. So you do believe that sleep is like, how many hours would you sleep? You know, after you when you were playing in these competitive matches, how many hours do you feel that you wanted to get, basically?
Sometimes during those matches, depending how many sets you played the day before, that's how many hours of sleep your body's going to require. And sometimes even 8 to 10 won't be enough. You have to make sure that you at least get 8 to 10 after the match.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you know, I can believe it because the intensity that you play at is such a high level that it's amazing to me. As I watch, I really am like I said, wow, I'm really enthralled by it. You know, can you give me an example? Because I know you played so many matches. You talked about this thing called a mental reset, and in the competition, can you give an example of like something that occurred for you when you were in these matches that you used this mental reset?
Oh, on those mental resets, that's where you need to manage your emotions. You need to stay calm. You need to make sure that you train before you're gonna be in an environment where you're gonna be feeling that you're not gonna be in threat. You're gonna be pressured to the maximum, but you're not gonna be in threat mode. So it's actually through training prior to the competition that gets you that way. That's why it's so important to train the right way and to be coached the right way. That way you get good input and good feedback all the time.
Interesting. So I guess that's how you were able not to take, because I know a lot of athletes also sometimes turn to drugs so they can calm themselves down during a match, right? And so that, I don't know, they feel that they need that to maintain their equilibrium. For you,
Yeah.
because you didn't do that, how did you do that? How did you get away from having to take anti-anxiety drugs and still perform and control that pressure that, I mean, there must be tremendous pressure that occurred, right?
Yes, tremendous. Yeah, you have to
Wow.
make sure that you reduce the stress somehow, naturally.
Yeah, then you'd have crowds around you. I would think
Oh
you
yeah.
must feel the emotions of those people, right?
Yes, it's very intense, and you can feel the adrenaline kicking in when there's so many people watching, and it's overwhelming sometimes. You have to learn how to cope with it through
Amazing.
through natural ways like calm breathing, making sure you're hydrated because if you're 2% dehydrated, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna start thinking slower and all of that. So it's good to have ice baths too, so your body's relaxed for the next day and to recover better too.
That's interesting, you know, because sometimes I've noticed that in my office, I'm a surgeon, and, you know, I forget to drink water. And it's not a tennis match, but like you said, there's a lot of stress that goes with people when I'm doing
Oh,
surgery. And you're so right. I know that if I drink some water, it seems to me that I have a little more focus, a little more clarity, you know, and uh, sometimes I don't. I say, well, I don't need to drink, and I, you know, I don't have that same focus, and I get a little bit tired, like you said.
mm.
Um, yeah, I'm curious. When you were a little boy, right? Did you always know you were going to be a tennis player?
Well, it was yes. I wanted to be number one in the world for sure. Ever since I was 10 years old. So that's how you keep motivated throughout your life. You know, trying to aim at something, keep it as a goal.
Wow. And you know, I'm curious because I've only been to Guatemala 2 times, but I really get a chance to speak to anybody. And then we have a nice picture of you there. Is tennis really big in Guatemala, or were you like someone who first got people involved in it?
Well, back home, it's soccer is the main sport. It's big, and it's you got 11 people on the field. So tennis is more individual. It's less known because it's a little more exclusive than soccer. So it's the pathway to being good and being known internationally it wasn't an easy one.
Yeah, I see this. Es el Maestro. They were writing here about you in this newspaper that, you know, you're the master. And I'm curious, how does it feel to have achieved what you achieved in your country and like be recognized in your country as El Maestro?
Well, yeah, it's you can't play without an opponent. So I always give credit to my opponents. And back home, the locals were excellent players, and then they were all free of stimulants too, and they competed in a healthy way. So credit for them too.
That's beautiful. So, you know, I'm curious because when I met you at this meeting that we were at, you're still in unbelievable shape. And, you know, you look like some kind of model from off of a Hollywood set. So I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure the viewers want me to ask you, because they're going to want this secret too. Number one is, how do you stay disciplined when you're not in the middle of your season?
Well, when you're not in the season, you have to regulate everything through training, through practice, eating well, journaling, and that's how you keep track of what you're doing and your goals too. Otherwise, you lose a little bit of track of what you were doing, and also try and make sure that you're getting the right amount of sleep through off-season work, and keeping a healthy diet. It's very important.
Well, those are really good tips. I know people are really being in tune. And I was going to ask you, a lot of the people, as they play sports, as they get older, they start developing pain and or discomfort, or maybe they're not as flexible as they were, and they start getting some, you know, problem with a joint or a muscle, or just not comfortable as they were when they were younger, when you could do anything and it was okay. You know, how did you recover? Like, what did you do, or what do you do? Which I think is important for all of us to know about. How do you recover? What techniques you do so you can get your body back without resorting to painkillers, or let's say like a Motrin or an Advil?
Oh yes, that's a really good question. You need to listen to your body first, because everybody's body is different. You have to try and always stay hydrated, because that's where you start getting a little bit of crashes during the day. If you feel a little tired or sleepy, it might be because you're dehydrated. And then at night, try and get a 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's recommended. That's where your body heals. A lot of people don't pay too much attention to that, but you'll definitely feel it if you don't get enough sleep.
Very interesting. That's something in today's world. We're all so busy. It seems like we're sleeping less, and you know, it's something that we need to get in. You know, and makes a lot of sense to me. Now, you also are a trainer and a teacher, and you teach aspiring tennis players. So, what do you focus on when you have these young athletes? And they probably, you know, especially when you're young, you can conquer the world. You don't need anybody. So how do you get through to them? And what do you mentor them on?
Well, I try to mentor them into that confidence comes from processes, not substances. When they see the improvement through natural methods, they're going to understand that drugs aren't needed, and you can go a longer way if you stay chemically free.
Interesting. And, you know, I run a drug education program. It's called the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. And, you know, I'm like with you. I'm totally on board. And that's why I try to run my own life. But I want to ask you, for the viewers, is it true that the body gives off its own endorphins and serotonin so that you can feel better? And if it is, how do you get that to happen?
Well, that's where you're gonna feel that you're happy and you're content, you're calm. That's serotonin, dopamine playing into performance. They control the motivation and your mood. And when you start doing exercise, that's they get produced naturally. This is the chemistry that everybody should be looking for.
That's so true. And I was going to ask you a question. Like when you were young and before you had all this education or whatever, like did you kind of already have an instinct on that? Did you already kind of experience that when you exercise you felt better afterwards, or was it always that way for you?
Well, it came naturally. Before, when you're young, you don't know what's happening to your body. You have so many thoughts, so many feelings, and then I was raised in a family where my parents both were tennis players. So we were going to the club and we were enjoying, feeling really good after the exercises, and after the hour of training. So we kept going, and it doesn't stop.
Wow. So both your mother and your father are tennis players.
Yes, yes, they brought us up, and my brother also.
Wow. So now, are your matches really intense when you play each other?
Yes, yes, it gets very mental when you play your siblings. Yeah, so you gotta be careful with them.
And like, do you play doubles matches with your family?
Not so much. We were mostly in the singles modes. So we competed a lot during the weekends. Parents took us to tournaments, to competitions, and that's how basically you stay away from all of the bad stuff. You start looking into laser focused career, and then you don't strive from that. You stay drug free.
What in professional sports where you've been involved, it seems to me that unfortunately there's been a lot of drug problems. You see somebody, they get to a really high level, and all of a sudden you see they disappear, or they end up in prison, or I don't know, they driving out of control and they hurt someone. What do you think? From your point of view, what do you think is going on? What's happening?
Well, the International Tennis Federation, they have a anti-doping committee, and they test athletes from time to time, by surprise sometimes. So that's why athletes need to strive for staying clean and not doing any of the illegal substances, because that's how the tennis environment works. Once you get fined by this committee, then it's very tough to clean your name.
Yeah, so to have control. What did you think? You were at the Greater New York Dental meeting the other day with your friend, Dr. Lucia from Honduras, and we were talking about drug education and this program. What did you think of what you saw with these dentists and the people who were there at the program?
Well, it's amazing to see so many incredible minds in the same place. They're normal people, but they're so talented, and they also try and strive for the best, and stay drug free. From what I saw.
Absolutely. As soon as I saw you, it's very interesting. You exude this very serene attitude. Do you feel that the tennis at that high level stress helped you to achieve that?
Yes, you have to be built with a calmness or you have to train yourself to stay calm through processes, through competition. I'm sure you know how to handle that amount of pressure during a surgery, and that's what I saw in the at the dental convention. You all know how to handle that sort of pressure. It's amazing how all of you guys do it too.
Absolutely. You know, I think it's it's so important because it exudes to the other people around you, and you know, things go differently. I'm curious. I want to ask you a question. This is totally off any beaten path, but do you feel that sometimes you won a tennis match because you kind of just because you were so serene that you like portrayed almost as if you were projecting to the other athlete, and you beat the other athlete not only physically with your training, but also mentally with what you projected, the emotion that you were projecting?
Oh yes, totally. The sport of tennis is very mental, and the toughest point is the last one. So that's where everybody's gonna shake a bit, and that's why when you stay calm through that point and you keep winning it, you start getting the other opponent, your opponent, a little nervous, and you can come back from losing. You'll be surprised how many times that can happen.
Absolutely. You know, I was going to ask you, now that you've gotten to this point in your career, what does it feel like to be recognized in your country for all that you've done in your profession and your sport?
Oh well, that's it's overwhelming. It truly is. It's an honor, first of all, to have gotten to that elite, and to have represented my country for quite some time with the Olympic Committee. I played in the Pan Am Games and Central American and Caribbean Games, Central American Games. It was a very very good career that led me to play at a higher level in universities in the United States.
Well, beautiful. You know, I really congratulate you because it takes so much. You did it for so many years, and you know, you're a great example. I wanted to ask you, what final message do you want to leave our viewers who are watching, and also any budding athletes out there who are watching you and trying to say, "Yeah, I want to be like that guy." You know, I'm going to zoom in on what he did. What final message do you want to leave them with?
Well, in anything you do in life, true excellence comes from integrity and effort. The body is already it's already going to produce powerful chemicals like endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, anandamide that they support happiness and focus. Sports is about celebrating human potential the right way. If you stay drug free and like you say yes to life and no to drugs.
Absolutely. You know, that's so true. And it's, you know, thank you for taking the time. I know you're a busy guy, and, you know, thank you for sharing. A lot of times
You're welcome.
people have, oh, it's a pleasure. You know, sometimes people keep their secrets because they want to hold on to them. And that's another high quality. I want to give you kudos because you're sharing these secrets and you performed at a high level. And, you know, I laud you and I want to thank you. And also, especially for this presentation you gave, because you incorporated science, but you incorporated spirituality, and you also brought in humanity and discipline. And so I think that for those of you watching, let's take a look at what Cristian Paiz did to reach all the success in his life. And let's do something simple. Let's just do what works. We can just copy it. And we too can do the same thing. And thank you for being on the show, Cristian Paiz.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. It was excellent.
Oh, it was fantastic to have you. And for those of you watching, until next time, stay focused, stay drug free, keep moving, and you too can achieve what our guest has done. We'll see you on the next episode of A Time for Truth Show. Be well.
This show was sponsored by Atimefortruthfoundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got. But the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet